Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and I am bringing you my Week 7 battle for the UBC Season Number 3 versus none other than Shinryu Johan, coach of the Shinryu Pikachus. Now, I will just go ahead and say off the bat, this is a little bit late. I have been traveling, unfortunately, and so I wasn't able to put this battle up on Saturday like I usually like to do. So I do apologize for that. I hope you guys still enjoy this battle. I also want to give a big shout out to Johan for being really flexible. We ended up playing late on Friday, so we got it in before the UBC deadline, but just wasn't able to put it up on YouTube. If you haven't already, go check out his channel and go check out his side of the battle. If you have already seen it, then chances are you know the result of this battle, but I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys, of course. Don't want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and slide on over to the Teambuilder real quick so you can see what mons we have. And we'll also talk about the mons that Johan could have brought. He has Mega Charizard X, Talonflame, Excadrill, Florges, Goodra, Jolteon, Gallade, Sableye, Sceptile, Quagsire, and Ursaring. So his team is actually pretty offensive, I would say. His only really defensive mons are like Quagsire, Sableye, I guess, is sort of defensive. It's not even really defensive if it's not Mega. It's not really bulky. It just has, the annoying prankster moves and things like that. And I guess Goodra and Florges are both relatively bulky mons, but then, they have like good offensive capability as well. But that being said, the nice thing about going up against such an offensive team is that a Pokemon like Lopunny is going to do the finest of work, and so we are going to be running Fake Out, Return, High Jump Kick, Facade on this thing. We're running enough speed to outspeed a timid Jolteon. Didn't really have to go too fancy with this set. If I get burned, I have the Facade, which can pretty much OHKO his whole team. Even a Excadrill is going to take like 94% from a burned Lopunny's High Jump Kick, so that's pretty nice. We've also got a Hippowdon with Stealth Rock, Slack Off, Earthquake, and Rock Slide. Mixed defensive. I wanted this to be able to take Hidden Power Ices from Jolteon. Stealth Rock just to punish the Zard and the Talonflame. Pretty standard set. It's not actually Sandforce. I think it is Sandstream. It is definitely Sandstream, so I don't know why it said that. But anyway, we also have a kind of a cool set. Akaberry, Heatproof, Bronzong with Earthquake, Rock Slide, Heavy Slime, Toxic. With an adamant nature and kind of a lot of attack investment, this allows us to guaranteed kill a uninvested Charizard with Earthquake after rocks. It does like 51%. And then Akaberry into Heatproof allows us to take like 40% from a +1 Flare Blitz from a Charizard, which is pretty cool. Toxic, just in case I need to wear down things like Florges or Goodra or Quagsire. Have a Shardy Berry Zapdos with Volt Switch, Heat Wave. It's not Thunder Wave, it's a Hidden Power Grass. Yeah, it definitely Hidden Power Grass. This is a good Excadrill counter. The Bronzong would normally be a pretty good Excadrill counter, but it is not Levitate. He might not know that I'm not running Levitate. He might not know that I'm Heat Proof. So it could still work, but I'm not willing to take the risk. Hippowdon is also a pretty good Excadrill counter, but it's already under a lot of pressure from Charizard and Talonflame, so I wanted something else as a backup that could be able to do damage to that thing. We have our especially defensive Emma Watson here. Unfortunately, didn't make it shiny this week, but that's okay. Moonblast, Wish, Will-O-Wisp with Destiny Bond. This is a good switch in for Jolteon because it traces the Volt Absorb, and we can get some HP back. Moonblast because it hits everything relatively hard. This is also a nice switch into Sableye because we can trace Prankster, and if he wants to switch out into something like Excadrill, we can trace or go for a Priority Destiny Bond on its Iron Head, which will work pretty nicely for us. Wish is just there in case we need to heal up the Bronzong, because that doesn't have any leftovers or anything. And same with the Zapdos. Zapdos at least has Roost. And last but not least, I think my favorite set, Acid Armor, especially defensive, Reuniclus with a Colbur Berry, Acid Armor, Toxic, Recover, Psyshock. He has very little that can hit this thing very hard. On the Spadef side, this number one thing is going to be a Shadow Ball from a Jolteon, but even that's barely doing 50%. I think it's even like on most turns it's a roll on whether it's going to do 50% or not. But we can come in on a Gallade, on a Sableye, even on also the Florges and the Goodra, and probably even the Jolteon, set up an Acid Armor, and he has very few ways to break us. This set doesn't really hit Excadrill all that hard, but if we're up at +4, +6 defense, the Excadrill can't really do anything to us in return, and we can sort of whittle it down with Psyshock, so I'm not really worried about that. I could have run Shadow Ball to hit everything neutrally, basically, except for the Ursaring. Ursaring is kind of a problem, actually, just because it's. I know that Johan likes to run Guts rather than Quick Feet, so it just has so much power. It's really pretty frightening. So I think it could definitely take us on, but anyway, I guess my point is I wanted Psyshock for the Florges and the Goodra rather than Shadow Ball, because otherwise, you know, it just wouldn't do a lot. I guess Toxic, again, is the main way I'm going to be wearing these Pokemon down, but it's okay. It is what it is. So that's the team, and now let's slide on over to this match. So, as you can see, he's brought Excadrill, Jolteon, Ursaring, Charizard X, Florges, and Goodra. So right away, there's, I guess, some things that I'm worried about. Choice Scarf Excadrill can outspeed my Lopunny, so I'm just going to have to kind of scout for that. I know that Johan really likes Air Balloon Excadrill, so we'll see how that goes. I don't think even a Quick Feet Ursaring can outspeed, so that's okay. Then the only other thing that this will be kind of weird is like a Choice Scarf Jolteon or Choice Scarf Goodra. Neither of which are very likely, but I'm going to definitely be aware that those things are possible. He doesn't have a great way to deal with my Reuniclus, except for the Ursaring. So if we can get that thing out of the way early, we'll be in a great spot. And yeah, because he didn't bring anything like Sceptile or Quagsire, the Hippo is also a really great wall. So I am just going to go ahead and lead with the Hippowdon because, as I said, he doesn't have a lot to hit it very hard, and I want to set up the rocks as soon as possible. I'm going to go ahead and put this on normal, and we'll kind of see how it goes here. So he does lead off with the Ursaring, which, as I mentioned, is just a very scary Pokemon. I'm just going to immediately go for the rocks. He goes for Close Combat, which is going to be stronger than Facade without any status boost, which will be coming up here as you see the Flame Orb comes up. Flame Orb you never see with Quick Feet because Quick Feet doesn't negate any attack drops or anything like that. So he does go into his Excadrill. I just went for the Slack Off if he wants to go for the Facade. Just kind of want to see how much it does, see if I can wear him down a little bit. But he brings in the Excadrill and goes for Rapid Spin, which is totally fine. This Excadrill can do nothing to me. I'm going to Rock Slide and break his Balloon. He's going to go for his own rocks as I put the rocks back up again on his side. And he's going to be switching into Florges. And so I just go for the Earthquake because if he didn't switch out with the Excadrill, if he wanted to go for Rapid Spin again, I would easily be able to kill. As you can see, Earthquake is going to be a 2 at KO on this Florges, but it does get off a big Energy Ball on me, which kind of stinks. I don't want this thing to be too weak because I need it to take on things like the Charizard and potentially the Excadrill and even Jolteon. So now he brings in the Ursaring, which can definitely revenge me with Facade. So I switch out into my Bronzong, which takes a hell of a lot. 45% on a pretty physically defensive Bronzong is not a joke. So he goes for Facade again. I think if he went for Close Combat, he would have been able to kill me that turn. It really doesn't matter that much because I can just go into Lopunny, click Fake Out, and take this thing out. Especially because its defenses would have been lowered. It would have taken another turn of Burn. So that part didn't really matter as much, but I think, yeah, just in the long run, that would have been slightly better. Maybe if he wanted to preserve it or something like that. Anyway, so Jolteon comes in here. There's the 1% chance that it's Scarf, and I have a really good switch into this thing in Gardevoir. So I decided to go into that guard, and he makes a good read and doubles out into Excadrill. Pretty bold play, because I could have clicked High Jump Kick there and just knocked out this Excadrill. But in any case, I don't want to stay in and take an Iron Head. He is going to go for that on my Hippowdon switch in. Now, Earthquake does have like a 15% or 20% chance to kill here, but he doesn't know that. So he just goes for Rapid Spin, and I'm able to heal back up to full, which is really nice. Again, a pretty bold play staying in there because the Earthquake could have killed, but it is what it is, and it certainly isn't a bad play. Goodra comes in, clicks the Draco Meteor, and as I break up my Reuniclus, he unfortunately misses. It didn't really matter in the long run, in my opinion. Maybe it would have been nice to get that damage, but as you can see, it only did 40%, and I get to click Acid Armor here. So maybe I wouldn't have gotten to get up an extra Acid Armor, but now he brings in the Excadrill. I go for Recover, and he's gonna spin, and I'm gonna be able to click Acid Armor again because I know that his Earthquake, especially since he's not Life Orb or even probably Adamant, it's only gonna do like 25%. So I'm able to get up to +6 defense here, and I'm thinking that there's really nothing on his team that could take me out at this point. I click recover just to see what he wants to go for. Like if he does click Shadow Ball, I just wanted to gauge the damage. But he locks himself into Thunderbolt. That based on the damage calcs, he has choice specs. So I go for the Toxic, know that I can live 2 Thunderbolts, and just start to click recover. Because there's nothing that he's going to be able to do. Now, he does get the paralysis here, which is kind of a bummer. We're already pretty slow, so it's not like we're going to be worried about being outsped by things now. But, it just is like a inconvenience. He does bring the Goodra in. We are at full health. He goes for the Thunderbolt. I just sort of to gauge the damage before he drops a Draco. Do get full parried, goes for a second Thunderbolt, and we get full parried again. Kind of a bummer because I would have really liked to get a Toxic off on this thing, and on this turn we're forced to go for recover because knowing that Draco does 40%, if he goes for T-Bolt followed by another Draco, we wouldn't be able to live. As I get up to full, he switches into the Jolteon, go for Toxic, can't do anything, so I'm just going to click recover here as it wears itself down, and he gets a crit. Crit definitely was needed to knock out my Reuniclus, so that kind of sucks. I think the Reuniclus would have won the game otherwise, but we are not out of it by any means because we have our Lopunny, and he does not have a switch in. As you can see, this Charizard takes 47% from a high jump kick. We can follow up with the second high jump kick. Even if he was like max HP, this high jump kick was going to kill. If he had been like Bold or something like that, it could have been bad. But still, he wouldn't have wanted to waste his Charizard like that, and maybe if he burned us or something, we would have been in a good spot with the Facade, and we could just clean up the team. Now we do bring in the Gardevoir on this Goodra. He makes a good read and goes for the Sludge Bomb, which is really nice. I'm just waiting to click Destiny Bond, basically. So I go for Will-O-Wisp in case he does something funny, like switch out into Excadrill. I can click Destiny Bond as he kills us with this Sludge Bomb. So that's good for us. I'll take that 1-for-1 every day. The Goodra is, it's kind of a hard Pokemon to deal with. I could have, whittled it down with Zapdos and then revenged it with Lopunny. But yeah, I know now that this Jolteon is not Scarf, so I can easily kill it with the return. Brings in the Excadrill, and as long as I hit here, we will be able to take on this Excadrill. We do that and knock it out, and we are able to pick up a 3-0 victory, which is always, always pretty good. 3-0, it's like not too one-sided, but it's not too close for comfort either. I think Johan played pretty well, made some good aggressive plays. Got a little lucky against the Reuniclus and things like that, but, that's the game. And it luckily ended up not costing us in the long run. And on the plus side, we were able to pick up 4 kills with Lopunny. Lopunny is now the kill leader in the UBC. It has 15 kills and only 2 deaths, so it's also the differential leader, which is pretty nice. Just unfortunately, Johan just didn't have an answer for Lopunny. And not that a lot of teams do. Like, you need a physically bulky Psychic type, really. Like, he could have maybe brought, like, physically defensive Florges, but Florges is still taking a lot from return. It's going to do, like, 60% or so. Again, it just wasn't a lot he could have done. Like, because I brought the Facade, the Sableye, trying to get a burn off, which is not going to be a counter. And even if we got whittled down by Will-O-Wisp damage, we had Gardevoir, which could Wish Pass into the Lopunny as needed, just to keep it at high health. He had no way to break through the Hibaudon, as I had mentioned. So, it's just kind of a tough matchup for him, and I think, as I said, he did play well and make a lot of good predictions, like anticipating the Gardevoir switch in with his Goodra, and anticipating my Lopunny switch into that Gardevoir, and then bringing in the Excadrill. So, well played, my friend. Again, really want to thank Johan for his flexibility, and I do want to encourage you guys to go check out his channel. So that's going to be it for us. We are now 5-2 in the UBC, so that's feeling pretty good. Next week, our opponent is Devin, coach of the Texas Nightmare. He's got a pretty scary team that we will be going over on Friday. We will be uploading that battle on Saturday. There's nothing that's going to be preventing me from uploading on time this week, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. In the meantime, please be sure to check back to my channel for other Pokemon content. Until the next time, I will see you all later.